It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Joined by Simon Boisvert, the snake. You recognize that voice there in the intro, Simon?
Dick Irvin?
Yeah.
Dick Irvin? The father?
Dick Irvin Jr. No.
It was Junior. Okay, it was Junior. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You may have heard his voice once or twice.
Yeah, on CTV. Yeah.
Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess you probably grew up with Rene Lecavalier more so.
Yeah, I did, but I heard Dick Irvin because he was a sportscaster for a long time on CTV News.
Yeah, that's right. That too. Yeah, for sure. I know Liam McGuire got Dick to do intros for our two shows, so a little bit of retro. Well, we do like to talk about the history of the Habs and stuff like that. And I ran into you last weekend in Ottawa, and speaking of retro, we talked a lot about the old days and the old QMJHL days and the Habs back in the 70s and 80s. And it's always fun to get together with you and talk hockey because, like you said, we're kind of the same vintage, and both were draftniks from a young age. So there's lots that we can always talk about, eh?
There were not many draftniks back in the day.
No. With my,
I think I had one friend who was interested. That was it.
Yeah. Well, I wish I'd have known you when I was 10.
Yeah,
we should have been pen pals.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Habs been on a little bit of a skid of late.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the game the other night?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I thought it was, I think it might have been an important turnaround, them coming back and getting the point there.
Yeah.
I believe that might give them a little bit of momentum going forward here, even if they lost it in the shootout. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I was surprised to see the shift in the sense that they brought Slavkovsky to with Demidov and Kapanen.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was an interesting line, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to last because you know how it is with lines. I mean, they can look good one day and then...
Oh, for sure.
But I was surprised because Slavkovsky has been a fixture with Caulfield and Suzuki for a couple of years now.
Yeah. Well,
so I thought it was interesting. And they got back in the game. They got kind of unlucky at some point, I think, when the puck bounced on the referee. But they came back and... look, they have a tough schedule coming after the homestand against the Caps and the Leafs. They have 3 games in 4 nights in Utah and Vegas and Colorado.
Yeah.
Oof. But look, last year, that's what we thought during the holidays. And didn't they beat all of them?
Right.
So you never know. It's very easy to say now, okay, that's 3 losses. Well, no, you don't know. And sometimes you see games where, that's 2 easy wins at home or something. And then they get 1 point out of 4.
Right.
Look, it's a long season. There's parity in the league. So nothing surprises me anymore.
Well, they're a young team. They don't know any better, I think, too. Right?
Also, yeah.
I mean, momentum's a funny thing, but I think, there's always, like they always say, and history has shown that, if you're out of the playoffs on U.S. Thanksgiving, you rarely, like last year when Montreal came back, that was rare that it happens. Yeah. But it's safe to say that this year, that's especially in the Atlantic Conference, that's got to be thrown out the window because it looks like
except maybe Buffalo. Except maybe Buffalo.
Maybe,
but again, they beat the Oilers the other night.
Well, they're starting to go, and they finally, Lindy Russ finally called up my boy Osland there and given him a shot on a line other than the 4th one, and he's popped his first 2 the other night. I still think he's going to be a hell of a player. They've got some good, and they're even giving Isaac Rosen finally a shot there too, right? They've got some good young players. If they, they're all at that age where they might start to and if Owen Power takes another step this year, and Bowen Byram, like they have a bunch of players that if they do break out and have breakthrough seasons, the Sabres might, it's so tight, right?
Yeah.
Like it's 6 points between first and last or something like that. It's ridiculous. So, the 4 teams that are going to be out of the playoffs on Thanksgiving, I guess what I'm getting to here is that don't count out all, at least 3 of them, maybe Buffalo, because that seems to be the pattern.
Well, they're a little bit behind. That's the things, but then you have to catch up on many teams.
Yeah. Well, they're 2 points below Toronto, I think, or I know they were tied after their last win with Toronto. So it's just that's how tight it is, right? But like I say, I don't think this year you're not going to look at the standings and say, well, the 4 teams that are out are going to be out at the end of the year, because it's just I've never seen such parity. It's really it's going to come down to the last weekend of the season this year. And crazy too with the Olympic break, right? There's going to be so many games, like these 3 and 4 nights. There's going to be a lot of those for all of the teams, and it'll be there's going to be a lot of shifting back and forth, I think, throughout the year. It should be exciting.
Yeah. I think Buffalo has interesting on paper. They have an interesting group of young players, but it seems like it never clicked. Or
no.
Well, because the guys, I like Ostlund very much. I think he would have been the Habs pick if they had kept the 13th pick instead of getting Kirby Dach. I think he would have been their pick.
Yeah.
So
they tried to move up to get into the top 10 so they could draft him.
Yeah.
They didn't, and they didn't think that he would be there at 13. They thought he was top 10. Okay. And then when that fell through, they made the deal to get Dach. So
okay, so that's what happened. Yeah,
they definitely liked Ostlund, and he. I think he's going to be a good one, but they're a team that it just goes to show that tanking and getting a top 10 pick is not necessarily a recipe for success. You got to build a good culture, and you have to start to win at some point, which is why last year there were still people in January and stuff, and even February, that wanted the Canadiens to tank.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't that far out of the playoffs. And I was not of that mindset. I thought, at some point you got to start getting a winning culture. And I think the timing was right for the Canadiens to make the playoffs and probably make them for a few years now here.
It's funny because I hear the same talk about Hawks fans. Some of them are disappointed that they might not get a top 5 pick again because they think it's too early, because they don't have enough forwards, and because it's true. I mean, the Hawks are a little bit thin at forward, and you're going to hear that talk every year, because it seems like a lot of fans, they want basically a top 6 and a top 4D that will be composed of 10 top 10 picks.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And and it's funny, like it must be a lot of those Hawks fans are young, because there were ones in 2009 that felt the same way, probably that they were too young, and what they do, Taves and Kane lead them to a Stanley Cup. Right?
Yeah, they won right away. Yeah, almost after. Well, they had a drought for many years, but as soon as Kane and Taves arrived, second year, Final Four, third year, Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Same with Pittsburgh, almost fourth year for Sidney Crosby.
Right.
Yeah, winning.
Do you think the Canadiens are with the injuries to Dach and Newhook and Line A? That's 3 pieces that are in your top 9 basically to start the year. Or well, Line A was on the 4th line, but it was supposed to be in the top 9. Can you see them making a deal pre-trade deadline And if so, any thoughts on who they might try to target?
There aren't many deals made during the season, especially before Christmas.
Yep.
I don't know. The Olympic break is around the time of the trade deadline. I mean, there's not a big gap. So right. I don't know what's going to happen at that time. But before Christmas, I would be very, very surprised, especially that the standings are very tight. So who would be sellers right now? Well, I mean, the Flames maybe. But
maybe.
Who do you want on the Flames?
Well, yeah. Do you want Kadri? I personally, I'm on record saying I wouldn't. I wouldn't go there. No. Maybe Nashville if they fall out.
Yeah.
There might be O'Reilly or Stamkos might be possibilities.
Yeah.
You'd want to get retained salary if you got Stamkos, I think, right?
Yeah, because he has 3 years left on the contract.
Yeah, yeah.
And O'Reilly shouldn't cost too much. I don't think he would cost a first-round pick anymore.
No. Well, he might be like a left-handed center, right? Brings a little grit to the line.
I would get him. I'm just saying that I don't think they would get a first-round pick for him if they shot him around the league. That's my point. Yeah.
Well, they'd probably ask for like a Hage or Zorowski or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't trade Hage for
no,
neither would
because it's very short-term help when you think about it, considering where the Habs are right now. If they were like a very, very serious contender, on the cusp of the cup, I would seriously think about it. But now it's like, okay, let's be patient. They have the youngest team in the league. They're building something good. And so far, Hughes has always resisted to the idea of spending future assets for immediate help, but not Dobson type of immediate help. I'm talking about rental type.
Yeah. Well, do you not see the East with Barkov's injury and Kachuk out? Do you not see the East as kind of being? I mean, I think we're seeing that it's wide open.
It is.
Right? It is. And Montreal. It's not inconceivable, especially if they pick up the right piece or two. It's not inconceivable that they could make the Cup Finals this year.
Well, if they were in the Western Conference, I would say no. In the Eastern Conference, I doubt it, but it's not far-fetched to think that they could.
Right.
Let's say, with a couple of acquisitions, obviously.
Yeah. Do you think? What are your thoughts on the goaltending in Montreal right now? Do you think that that's maybe an area that they might even, if Montembeault continues to struggle and Jovic has lost his confidence, is that a position that you think they may like either call up a guy or look at getting a player?
Yeah, you're taking the words out of my mouth. Were you thinking about Kakkonen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has NHL experience and he had some good moments in the NHL.
Yeah.
I think he was a very good acquisition as a number 3 goalie who could basically be called up and perform. Because I don't think they should call up Fowler. Just let him marinate in Laval for now. But Kakkonen, I think he's an option. But last year, Montembeault didn't have a good start. Then it went well.
Right.
Dobesh, he has some great moments, some very bad games. That's why I don't think he's a number 1 in the long term. But as for another guy that they could get, again, who are you going to get?
Well,
I mean, the Sharks last year were trading Mackenzie Blackwood. That would have been a good option last year because the Sharks were selling very early in the season. But it's rare that a team will make a good goalie available in November or December.
Well, I mean, Colorado switched both their goalies, right? Last year.
Pardon me?
Colorado switched both their goalies last year.
Yeah. Exactly, because they were very bad at the beginning of the year.
Well, I mean, the East is open, and if the Canadiens are contending despite really shaky goaltending, which is a possibility at some point. Maybe another month down the road, if Monty's still not finding his game, they have to at the very least consider calling up either Kakkonen or Fowler, right?
Yeah.
And you would, well, hey, I'd give Kakkonen a look. I mean, there's a good chance he could play better than Monty is right now. So,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, I was surprised that he didn't get claimed on the waiver wire in October.
Yeah,
I was surprised. Yeah. Because goalies do get claimed,
Caden Primo did instead, and
I
I would have picked Kakkonen ahead.
Me too. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So, but look, good for the Habs that they were able to keep him, and of course he's an option. I think if it doesn't go well in the during the Thanksgiving trip for the Habs, maybe he's an option for December.
Yeah. Not that Fowler is in Carey Price or Patrick Roy's realm. It's certainly not at this point, but they both were starters at even younger than Fowler is. And, they didn't play a heck of a lot in the AHL either.
True.
Fowler could also be like if he keeps getting shutouts, and is looks like the best goalie in the AHL a month down the road, and Monty's still struggling. I think you got to consider giving him a look too.
Look, even Vasilevsky stayed quite a long time, I would say, for such a top prospect in the AHL. And I know that Roy basically didn't play in the AHL except for the Calder Cup run after he finished his junior career.
Price too, basically.
Pardon me?
Price, it was similar with Price.
Yeah, it was similar with Price, yeah. Look, I'm not saying no, but I'd rather not. I like stability when you're developing a goalie. And to me, I'm just thinking, okay, it's his 21-year-old season. It's his rookie season. Keep him in the AHL. But again, like you say, if the guys struggle, but I would call up Kakkonen first to see what happens. Right. Then if the three goalies are struggling, then why not? He can't do worse.
Yeah. No,
and he's talented. And from what I saw in person, the guy has Fowler has I wouldn't call it grit, but I would say he challenges shooters. Yeah, badass. Yeah. From what I saw in person. So I think he's probably a very confident young man. And I love having young players in the NHL. So obviously, you're kind of preaching to the choir, but at the same time, I'm trying to be more patient. I'm trying to be calmer with young players. And saying, okay, let's keep Fowler in the AHL. I'm trying to convince myself this is the best way to go.
Yeah. But, I mean, what's best for the team, they're at that stage right now, and especially with the East being wide open, what's best for the team is more important than what may be best for the prospect especially if the goaltending remains a huge question mark, because it may ultimately be just what the thing that needs to be solved, right? Like I think they have a good solid defense. We'll see what hopefully Bolduc can get going here on the top line. He has slowed down some since that very impressive start. And I know at the time of the trade, you'd never been a huge Reinbacher Mailloux fan. So you looked at it as a steal. Bolduc has no goals in his last 11, has been kind of invisible at times and stuff. Are you a little less, are you a little more prone to say, okay, well, maybe we should wait, just like you said to me, wait 5 years on the Kapanen deal. Let's wait 5 years.
Look, I wait on everything. Whether I'm right or wrong, I wait on everything. So obviously, I'm not going to change my mind because careers go through ups and downs, and you can only judge at the end of the players' careers, basically, or at least 5, 6, 7 years down the road. I still maintain it's a steal because I don't see much of a player in Mailloux. That's the reason. So I'm thinking if Bolduc is a good third liner and scores 20 goals, to me, that's a steal. But look, if Mailloux establishes himself on the top 4 and he plays 20 solid minutes per night down the road, then I will say, okay, well, they should have kept Mailloux because defensemen are more important than wingers. So we'll wait. It's very easy in October to say it's a steal. Then in November to see, well, it's not that much of a steal. And then we're going to go up and down for years and years and years.
Well, at the start of the year, Mailloux was on when you said about how thought it was a joke. Mailloux was on one of his downs, right?
Yeah.
And now he's on and up. He has goals in 2 straight games. Just curious, like he had only played 80 OHL games or 90. And he was playing 25 minutes a night on a London defense, was their number 1 guy, penalty killer, power play guy, took them to an OHL final. What was it that, like, why were you not impressed by a 6'3" player with a cannon shot that can skate? I mean, he's still got to work on his pivots, but he's pretty mobile. What was it just that could, Thomas Harley, he played 310 games in the OHL and AHL before he was ready. And I find some similarities in these two. Harley needed to work on his defense. Obviously, Mailloux more so, but he's played 210 games in the AHL, OHL combined, like 100 less than Harley did before he was ready. 6'3", kind of similar size, takes a bigger guy a little longer. He's only 22. You know as well as I do, Simon, that the average age for an NHL defenseman to become a regular is not, it's 22 to 24, right? So what is it exactly about him that you don't think, will enable him to become a top 2 right-hand defenseman?
Well, there's one thing that I think first of all, the 19-year-old season of a junior player, I don't pay much attention to it. And that goes for Mailloux or any player that I love, So that's
even though he'd only played 20 games in the OHL before his 19-year-old season.
Yeah.
Could you not appreciate that he needs repetition and that?
I do appreciate that players needs repetition because it was the COVID years. Obviously, he went to play in Sweden during his draft year.
Suspended half a year.
Yeah, so that I do appreciate. But to me, the 19-year-old season of any player in junior hockey, I take it with a grain of salt. The thing that I don't trust Mailloux with is, and I'm not going to change my mind until he proves me wrong, is that I find that in his own zone, it's like I don't have the word for it, but it's like he's daydreaming. And sometimes the play goes left, he goes right, and I feel that I feel that he's lost in his own zone, and I don't think that his offense can compensate for that because I know he's big, he has a good shot, he's a good skater, but I haven't seen the potential for him to be a top offensive defenseman in the NHL, which would compensate for his weaknesses on defense, like balancing it out. So sometimes we see Lane Hudson, he has some bad games, in his zone, but he really compensates for it by doing a million good plays during a game.
Right.
And I think it's the same with Quinn Hughes, who's not very good defensively, but, he compensates. Sure. Not everyone is Kyle McCarr and Matthew Schaefer. But Mailloux, I just don't believe in him. I know I'm sort of beating a dead horse here because I've been mentioning it for years and years and years. I said his ceiling. I remember saying it to Tony. I said his ceiling was number 6 defenseman in the NHL. And to me, that's fine because he was picked 31st. So to me, you look at Nolan Allen, who was picked 32nd. This is kind of the standard for me. So if Mailloux becomes a number 6 defenseman, does a good job, 14 minutes a night, to me, it's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Well,
you see my point?
the reason he was picked
Yeah.
31st was, you know, why he was picked 31st. It wasn't because that's where teams had him ranked.
Yeah, because I watched his games. I watched his games in Sweden, and I know it's a different type of hockey and everything, and circumstances were totally different. But to me, I wasn't that impressed. I mean, I thought he was okay.
Hockey at 10.
But even before the incident was made public, to me, he was a late first rounder.
The Canadiens had him top 10.
Okay,
you know, and I think a lot of teams, if it wasn't for the incident, had him. It wasn't a really strong draft. Most scouts that I've talked to thought he was a top 15 player in that draft. So, but we'll see. You know,
I mean, that's their opinion. I had mine, and
it's obvious that he in his own zone is the issue and has been the issue. I think it's more that just a matter of more repetition, and that will come because, hey, pro hockey is quite a step from hockey at 10 or whatever, you know, he was playing then, right? And only 100 games in the OHL. I mean, you're projecting. Yeah. I'm projecting that will improve, and maybe it won't, and maybe you'll be right. And it's going to be fun watching Logan Mailloux. You know, I respect Doug Armstrong, and, you know,
well, I like Doug Armstrong. I was shocked at the trade, honestly.
Well, no, but you shouldn't be shocked because Logan Mailloux, if he puts it together in the defensive zone, is going to be a top 4 defenseman.
But let me ask you, why do you think?
They've got Jake Neighbors, they've got Dvorsky, they've got Pekarchik, they've got I can name about 8 good young wingers that they've got on that team.
The idea was good. You trade from a position of strength to get something. But to me, for Bolduc, Mailloux would not have been the guy had I been in charge of the Blues. That's all I'm saying. But I'm wondering something, and maybe you know the answer, or you have an idea, better idea than I do. I know they needed young defensemen. They're very old on defense, and that's good. But why did they start him in the NHL? Why do you think? It's since you say that he needed more reps.
Yeah. Snuggerud's another one. Like, they're loaded on with young wingers. They obviously think that Snuggerud's going to be better than Bolduc.
That's
a year younger. He's a year younger, and right now, he's probably playing better than Bolduc.
Yeah. I prefer Snuggerud too. Yeah. You know, but why do you think the Blues started Mailloux in the NHL, knowing that he needed more reps?
Well, they didn't, they thought that he might be ready. It's not like they're loaded at 6'7". They got Tucker in there instead.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they wanted him to be their third-rate defenseman. I guess I didn't see his exhibition season, so I don't know how he looked there, but presumably he didn't look too badly. And also, you make a trade, right? You want it to look good right off the bat, and maybe that had something to do with it too, right? You don't know.
Yeah.
So,
correct. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it'll be fun to watch. It's funny. Habs fans chirping Blues fans when Bolduc scored in 3 straight games, right? And now Islanders fans chirping Habs fans because
for Heineman.
And the same guys, some of the same fans that were chirping St. Louis now go, oh, you got to wait. Well, you got to wait in all circumstances, not just for the guys you pick up, but the other
both ways. It goes both ways. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Aitchison has like 15 goals or something like that. Crazy. Heineman's playing a top 6 role. And I personally, and I said it last year, I don't know why. I think the Canadiens made a mistake not trying Heineman in a top 9 role last year. Even he was scoring his goals per 60, playing with Evans and Anderson, was top 30 in the league up until his injury. Yeah. And Marty would never try him up higher, even though, in my opinion, and it's still what's missing for the Canadiens and why they got Bolduc, but they still need another guy with size and grit in the top 9, I think.
Who can score?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. size and grit and skill that will help them at playoff time. And now, if they would have given Heineman that top 9 look and he had looked good, would he have been part of the Dobson trade? You can't say. It's an interesting, perspective. But
kudos to Mathieu Darche and his staff for asking for Heineman, because Heineman has been sneaky good.
He has, yeah.
Sneaky good, because I always think, he's a fourth liner. It's just a lucky streak. Yeah, but those lucky streaks, they were. No, but you know what I mean. Sometimes at first, when a fourth liner scores, you think, it's just been lucky. But
yeah.
That's not luck when you do it like for many sequences in a row. He's been very good since the beginning of his NHL career.
Yeah, for sure.
Been very good. Yeah.
Reinbacher, you mentioned something a while back. You think that maybe, it's an interesting debate that Tristan Luneau might end up being a better NHL defenseman than Reinbacher, and I think that ruffled a few feathers. You've been known to do that every now and then, Snake. What we tell me why you think that might be a possibility?
Look, I like both. So from the start, and I think they're not exactly the same type of player. So obviously, they're kind of hard to compare. I look at Reinbacher play, and I have the feeling that we'll only have the answer when he plays in the NHL. And I'll tell you why.
That's a good point.
Because when I look at him play in the AHL, I feel there are some players who are better in the NHL than they are in the AHL because of the guys they work with. And sometimes I see Reinbacher, he starts making a play, carries the puck, and then he's not the most creative guy in the offensive zone. But when you're playing with top NHLers and you give them the puck, then you've done part of the job and they complete the job. In the AHL, sometimes he does it, and the puck, the play dies basically on his stick because he doesn't have great options in terms of who he's working with. I don't know if I'm making it clear.
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah.
Because I always liked him in his draft year, and afterwards I said, okay, this guy is big. He's a strong presence on the ice. He's he carries the puck well. He scored a couple of nice goals. I remember the first one that he scored when he got to Laval last year. Yeah. So I still like the pick. I know some people are a little bit disappointed, or because of the injuries and because of the lack of big numbers or production. I think he's improved in the last 3 weeks since he came back from his injury. I think this weekend he was much better than the first weekend. So I still like Reinbacher. So let's get this clear. Now, Luneau, and it's probably more of a personal preference. Luneau, I loved his mobile defenseman like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a force offensively either, but I do like his offensive game. It's mostly the way he behaves on the ice. I mean, really, it's the skating. It's the skating and the puck moving. Yeah, and to me, it's am I concerned about Reinbacher's injuries? Well, a little bit. Not as much as I would be with Kirby Dach, let's say. But I'm a little bit concerned about Reinbacher's injuries. Yeah. Maybe they were just bad luck. Maybe he's going to be fine for the rest of his career. I look, if you give me the choice, I give slight edge to Luneau. I'll take Luneau over Reinbacher on a one-on-one trade. But to me, it's by a hair.
Okay.
So if they keep Reinbacher, I'm still very confident in Reinbacher. More than a lot of fans, I think.
Yeah. Well,
who are ready to give up. I thought Reinbacher was going to be a number 2 defenseman on a top pairing guy, but mostly like the guy who not stays behind, but you sort of match him with a smaller Hudson, let's say. You named him.
Yeah.
I could see a pair with Hudson Reinbacher playing, 22, 23 minutes a night down in the long run. So I think Reinbacher is going to be part of a whole, a solid top four, more than the guy that you rely on, the way some teams will rely on a number one defenseman, and then they have nothing behind this guy. I think it's just going to be part of a whole. And I think once he gets to the NHL, he might get more points than we think, although he probably won't be on the power play. Yeah. So that's my take on it. But as probably as a ticket buyer, let's call it, I wouldn't see Luno.
Yeah, well,
do you see my point?
Yeah, your Gatineau bias coming out there, Snake. No,
I wasn't working for them at the time. So.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
You're probably more Gatineau biased than I am because you live in the area.
Well, I saw Luno quite a bit. Yeah, obviously, and the issue in his draft year that I had was like he never made more than about a 4-foot pass. I don't find him to be that creative either. Like I know you're saying Reinbacher's not that creative, but I don't think Luno's has any more vision than Reinbacher does. Personally, I think. Love his skating. I also don't think he'll be as stout defensively as Reinbacher, and that to me will be where down the road I think Reinbacher will be the better
more
the
useful
better defenseman.
More useful.
But for me, it's close to, and I wouldn't. I'm not saying it's outlandish to like Luno a little better. He's certainly gotten better since his draft year. I found in his draft year he was not very good.
He was not very good because the thing is with Luno, I saw him in midget AAA hockey at 14. Yeah, and at the time he was seen as a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
in the 2022 draft.
Yeah,
and then he had a good 16-year-old season in Gatineau. Mind you, it was a COVID year, so it was a shortened season. A lot of players' stats were inflated, and it was a very strange season. But in his draft year, I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
And I think so were NHL scouts because he lasted until the second round. The Habs didn't even take him. And they had 2 picks, Meshar and Beck ahead of him. So obviously it was very disappointing. I remember telling a friend of mine who liked him a lot, I said, look, forget it. I don't know what's going to happen because I don't like it when players regress from 16 to 17. To me, it's a red. But then at 18, he really went back up. And then they kept him at age 19. Then he had his illness, in the leg or something.
Yeah.
And he missed the rest of the season. They kept him. Now he had a great season in the AHL last year. I was a little bit surprised he didn't make the team this year. But I can see that Anaheim, they're loaded with young defensemen. And I think they want to have like 3 offensive defensemen with 3 defensive defensemen, the way they do their pairings, So I felt, okay, he's going to San Diego, but could he be trade bait at some point?
Maybe.
Who knows? Could he be trade bait? The Ducks are doing very well. So yeah.
Well, I mean, not beating out Drew Helleson, I don't know. I think eventually he will. You know, not the biggest Drew Helleson fan, but he's proved me wrong so far. And then there's Ian Moore. Like, there's a spot on him on the right side there in Anaheim down the road for sure. He played the other night, 18 minutes. He got called up. I looked at the game, and he's, you got to love his mobility. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Although I think Reinbacher is pretty mobile too. It's just when you're 6'3.5", versus a 6'1" guy. The 6'1" guy typically has better edges and all that stuff, and better burst. But they're both very good skaters, I think. But it's an interesting topic. But just last thing here. I mean, I could talk to you for an hour and a half easy, but I know you don't have all day. McKenna versus Stenberg. This week, who do you have? Who do you have number one?
Ooh. I hate doing this in November because I did it with Pulujärvi in 2016, and I still see. Although I'm not on Twitter anymore. A couple of times a year, I see a screenshot of that tweet that I made 10 years ago. that I had Puljujarvi number 1 after the World Juniors.
No.
Yeah, and at the end of the year, I had him number 3. And honestly, I was really disappointed.
Number 1.
Pardon me?
I had Laine number 1.
I ended up with Laine number 1 too. I had Laine, Matthews, Puljujarvi at the end of the year.
Okay.
But at the World Juniors, I had Puljujarvi, Laine, Matthews.
Well,
and I still get made fun of because of this. So I don't like making these predictions in November. But let's just say today is Wednesday, November 19th. As of now, I prefer Stenberg.
Okay.
As of now, maybe that'll change. McKenna, I see the skill set. He's incredible with the puck, but I see a winger who's not even 6 foot tall, not that strong yet, and who plays quite a bit in the periphery. And I don't know if the only thing, I'll give him a break, however. I'm not crazy about Penn State's structure, the way they play. I know he took the money, but you probably had other offers. Yeah, I think Michigan State was offering something. Did he go for the money? He would have been probably better off at Michigan State University.
Loaded.
With his buddy Lindstrom.
Yeah.
So I might give him a break because of the fact that he's at Penn State. But right now, I find that Stenberg is a man.
Well,
he's strong. He's skilled. I don't know.
Similar size though, too, right?
Yeah, but stronger, I find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes size is tricky. You look at a guy. And then you look at the measurements and you're thinking, why is this guy stronger than the other guy? They have the same measurements.
All right.
And Stenberg goes for the net. I like players who go for the net.
Well, McKenna does. I don't think he's shy, but
the only thing with McKenna right now, and if I'm an NHL general manager, let's say, is that it's hard not to pick him at 1. Because no one has really proven that they're better. They're going to be better than him.
Well, you were telling me about there not being. You don't like the SHL as a development league all that much, and where's Stenberg playing? So.
But he's an underager. What I said is
I know, but
what I said is that when a guy's 21, 22, 23, still playing in the SHL, I find that he's wasting his time. But as a teenager, I mean, it's great. That's the nuance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kapanen was, like, when you say still, it was his first and only year in the SHL.
No, but I look at probabilities.
Right.
I look at the top 100 scorers last year. There were 11 Swedish players. None of them played past the age of 19. That's all I'm saying. I just go with probabilities and numbers, and then once in a while there are exceptions. But when I place a bet, let's say on a player, I go with probabilities. Honestly, I'm a very, very I would say mathematical guy. I think.
Oh, I am too, but
yeah,
I also go by the eye test.
I know, but sometimes the eye test will show you something. But then then if it doesn't work out, you're like, I should have thought of the probabilities.
Yeah.
When I'm wrong, that's when I tell myself, because sometimes there are 4th round picks, that I love because of this, because of that, and then they don't make it. And then I was warned that this aspect of their game wasn't good enough. Blah blah blah. There's a reason why they were a 4th round pick. Blah blah blah. And then I'm thinking afterwards, okay, why didn't I listen to why did I get excited about the eye test? But, so like I say,
it's good. There's got to be a combination there for sure.
Yeah.
Just forewarned, the title's going to be right now. I prefer Stenberg, just so you don't get caught off guard by that. That's going to be the title of this. No, I know you have no issues with that. Now, you said to me, and it was when we were, we went and saw Ryan Rubrak.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't very impressive the other night, was he?
One good play.
Yeah.
Only one good play. He cut to the net. He had a great scoring chance. The rest of the game, number 25 was absolutely invisible. He looks totally disinterested.
Well, that might be where number 25 goes in the draft. Number 25.
Well, I'm sure he's going down. I'm sure he's going down the list.
Oh yeah,
probably starting the top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if he were like between 15 and 20 now on most lists.
Yeah, well, maybe even 25 on some. He 49 goals in your underage season. The last guy to do that, I think, it was probably DeBrincat. It's been a while. He was disappointing, but you were mentioning about, and this may be influencing you a little bit with McKenna, that you weren't blown away by him at the Memorial Cup. In fact, it was kind of the opposite. Are you factoring that in a bit to why you have Stenberg ahead of him right now?
I'm factoring it in because it was a very important moment in his junior career, and he had a lot of experience. He was not like he was not like a 16-year-old. He was actually,
fledgling?
Pardon me?
A fledgling?
Exactly. Yeah. He was a 17-year-old who had a big reputation. I loved him a lot. I thought he could have been McDavid light. That's what I thought for years. And when I saw him in person, everything that I thought he was going to be, he was only maybe 50% of it. Mm-hmm. So he made some very good plays, but I didn't think that he was as fast as I thought he was. I do think he's a great stick handler. He makes great passes. He's not going to be a flop. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. He's not going to be a flop.
No.
But I started out comparing him to McDavid 3 years ago. And maybe that's what influences me into bringing him down, because I'm so disappointed that he wasn't becoming what I thought he was going to be. Well, I would have hoped, and this summer I had doubts, but if you had told me at this time next year, he's going to be Celebrini-like in the NCAA, I would have said, yes. But when I saw him at the Memorial Cup, I said, okay, let's put the brakes here. I think he's going to be a good player, but he's not generational. He's not, transcendental, whatever. Right. I don't know if that's a word, but you see my point. So I still think he might go number one for a lack of, you know how GMs are and owners are. He's been on the radar. You saw it with Nolan Patrick. He's been on the radar for 3 years, and there is no clear-cut guy that you can pick over him and say, oh, that's a gimme. He's going to be better. You take Eden Verhoff. I think he's going to be a great defenseman. But, I mean, if McKenna scores 80, 85 points, and Verhoff is quote-unquote, just a solid number 2, let's say, fans are not going to be happy.
No, well, Stenberg's not McDavid either, right? So
no, not at all.
You know what I mean? I mean,
not at all.
So
there's no McDavid in this draft. There's no Celebrini. There's no.
But I mean, 17-year-olds at the Memorial Cup, I mean, I've had NHL scouts tell me before, like, guys in their draft year, let alone the year before they're drafted, don't put too much stock in what you see at the Memorial Cup, because I mean, you're playing against teams like London. London made a lot of high draft picks that have already been picked look ordinary, right? That and that I mean, it's typically 19, 20, 18, 19-year-olds that, and good ones, right? That are on Memorial Cup winners. And I mean, the end of the day, McKenna was third in points at the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
If you put a lot of stock into it, like, you wouldn't have picked Mario Lemieux first overall based on his Memorial Cup, because he was 27th in scoring. He was 27th in scoring in his 18-year-old year. So, but
it's the how that bothered me. It's what I saw on the ice. It's the how. It's I saw things that I'm like, okay.
I'm not. I mean. And I keep it open-minded, and especially in November, like you mentioned, Nolan Patrick, right? Shane Wright, Angelo Esposito. There's been, I could name 10 guys that consensus first overall picks in November of their draft year that don't end up being the number one guys. So I'm keeping an open mind in it. I mean, he got 20 points at the U18s as like a 16-year-old. He's done some insane
Oh,
things.
yeah. Well, that's why I loved him at the time. That's why I thought he was going to be,
led the WHL in scoring in his underage year. Like, he's done some special things. So he's not going to be a bad pick if he's first overall.
No.
Like, he's not going to be the next Patrick Stefan. You know what I mean?
No.
But, at least I like that there's I don't think it's a given. And the World Juniors should be a good, I think we'll have a better idea of who's better between Stenberg and McKenna after the World Juniors, because presumably they'll both be there. They'll both be playing. The only time they'll be playing in the same level, the same league, right?
Yeah. And they're about the same age.
That's right. They're both late birthdays, so it should be a good indicator. Like, if Stenberg is way better than McKenna at the World Juniors, I could see, it won't be out of the realm of possibility that you start seeing people coming on board with what you're saying here. So,
but remember, Lafreniere was much better than Byfield at the World Juniors.
That's right.
Yeah,
111 points in his.
It's a very short tournament.
Well, that's right.
But it's going to be interesting, at least, to see Stenberg against North Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care about the games with the blowout games, 14-0 against weak teams. Yeah. But I like seeing European players against US and Canada usually. Right. You see how, and it's also going to be on the smaller ice surface. So it's a small sample, but it helps.
Well, Byfield was playing CHL, and so was Lafreniere. So you could compare them in junior, right? But it's tough to compare a kid playing college hockey versus a kid playing in the SHL, right? It's not easy. So this will be the one and only time where you can kind of, where they're matched up against their peers, right?
Exactly. And they're both underagers.
Yeah.
It's not like one is 19 and the other one is 17, or they're really just, I think there's only a 3-month difference between those two.
Yeah, they're both 18-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah, they're both 18-year-old. And McKenna is going to be 18 very soon. So, look, it should be fun. Small sample, but it should be fun. Yeah. Other Swedish players are probably going to be coming to Trois-Rivières in December for the World Junior A, because, the second-tier guys after Stenberg, I think they're going to be part of the junior A team, because that's what Sweden has done over the last couple of years. Anton Frundell was at the World Junior last year. So it should be interesting. It's not like the highest caliber of hockey, but it's not a bad benchmark. It's a USHL sort of all-star team minus the US and TDP. Canada East, Canada West, there's some decent junior A players. So that should be fun. I'll be attending a couple of games, and look, more fun to come. I mean, players from everywhere. They're so hard to scout now. They play in, 32 players are picked in the first round. How many different leagues do they play in?
Oh, I know.
15?
We'll have to get you on right after you go to the World Junior A Challenger. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to go down, but stranger things have happened. Quickly, just on ending, did you look at any of the 5 nations that they just played, and did you see any of those games?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
what did you see?
Well, it's just I think Nordmark's kind of been thought of as the top, the top Swede in outside of Stenberg, obviously, but Hermanson was good at the Helenka as well, and I think there might be a switch there where I've heard from a couple of guys that maybe Hermanson at the end of the day ends up being the better prospect than Nordmark. So that will be, hopefully they're both there. Yeah. And it should be, I'll be interested in getting your thoughts on that. And I'll be watching I'll be watching those games, obviously on video if I don't make it down. But Simo, we've stretched it to 55 here. Better let you go. I really appreciate it. When is that? It's what, early December?
Yeah, it's the 7th to the 13th of December. So we could do something, the week after, which means the week before the World Junior Championship. We do a little preview. So let's do it around that time, the last week before the Christmas break.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Simo. As always, it's a pleasure, and happy scouting.
Thank you, Brent.
When's the next time you're in the Ottawa area? Do you know?
I don't know yet. I got to look at my little Gatineau schedule here.
Yeah, well,
and take it from there, because I got to do some scouting in the States also, because that's really my gig.
Yeah.
So
sure.
So there are tournaments now in the Boston area. I'm going to the Boston area soon. So we'll organize something. I want to see more OHL games. I love the OHL.
Text me when you're going to be in Gatineau, Ottawa again. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks, Simo. Have a great one.
Bye bye.